This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the 2016 Marcum MicroCap Conference in New York City. I have with me Kenneth Waggoner, PharmaCyte Biotech. It's a publicly traded company and the symbol is PMCB. Kenneth, welcome back to SNNLive.
Well, thank you, Shelley, for having us. It's great to be back. A lot has happened since we were last together.
It's good to see you. Let's start out with an overview of the company first.
Okay. We have an encapsulation technology into which we put genetically engineered cells to do two types of things. We treat cancer, and we're developing a treatment for type 1 diabetes and insulin-dependent type 2 diabetes. The genetically modified cells to treat cancer convert an inactive chemotherapy drug, doctors call it a prodrug, from its inactive form to its active form right at the site of the tumor. For diabetes, we have a cell line that's been genetically engineered that reads the blood glucose level of a patient, produces insulin, stores it, and then when you need it, the cell will give off the insulin to treat your diabetic condition.
These are two gigantic markets. I can't say that they're not being developed, treatments are being developed all over the place. Tell me the difference between what you have and what else is on the market for both cases.
Well, let's talk about cancer first. And our leading product candidate is pancreatic cancer. That's the product candidate that's most developed in the product pipeline. We take an approach of targeted chemotherapy. And what we do is we take these encapsulated, genetically engineered cells that convert an inactive chemotherapy drug, and we place those capsules as close as we can to the tumor. No one else does that. Once those capsules have been placed, we give the patient IV chemotherapy at 1/3 the normal dose. That inactive chemotherapy drug would normally be converted in the liver. It's not. The blood circulatory system takes it to where we have implanted these capsules, and the activation takes place right there. And the capsules themselves are right next to the tumor, so you get great cytotoxic effect, cancer-killing cells, but it comes with no side effects because we give the chemotherapy at 1/3 the normal dose.
How do you turn that targeted capsule on?
You don't. What you have is you have about 10,000 cells, genetically engineered cells, in 300 capsules, and through an interventional radiologist, we thread those capsules up as close as we can to the tumor, in this case in the pancreas, and there they sit. And they will sit there and do nothing until we give our prodrug, the chemotherapy agent, at 1/3 the normal dose. Then the blood circulatory system takes the chemotherapy agent with it to where the cells have been implanted. There are slits in the cells. The chemotherapy agent goes through the capsules. It's converted right there. Think of it as a factory. And then out the other side, there are slits, and you have the activation taking place right at the site of the tumor. Now, it's not just applicable for pancreatic cancer. It's any solid tumor in the body. You place capsules around the solid tumor. You give the inactive chemotherapy drug, normally converted in the liver. It's converted right at the site where you put those capsules, and now you have targeted chemotherapy in the true sense of the word.
All right, let's get into type 1 diabetes, a huge market.
Well, it's actually a huge market. It's a $940 billion market if you're talking about diabetes generally. Unfortunately, diabetes has become the world's biggest epidemic healthcare problem, bar none. Out of every $10 spent in this market for healthcare, $1 is spent for problems associated with diabetes. Now you have type 1 and type 2. We're developing a therapy to address both. If you're a type 1 diabetic, you won't need insulin. If you're an insulin-dependent type 2 diabetic, you won't need insulin. How do you do that? We have a genetically engineered cell line called the Melogen. A professor down at the University of Technology, Sydney, has been developing it for over 20 years. We're going to put that cell line into our capsules. Now that cell line has already been proven to reverse the diabetic condition in a mice study.
So your technology is actually a delivery system.
Well, it is and it isn't. People get this confused. It doesn't deliver drugs. What it does is it enables a drug to do something. When we're talking about cancer, it converts it. The drug's not in the capsules. The drug is given at 1/3 the normal dose. When it gets to the capsules, think of it as a factory. It just converts it right at the side of the factory. That's how we treat cancer. Now, for diabetes, it's somewhat similar, but it's not delivering a drug. What it's doing is it's enabling these cells that have been encapsulated to take the place of your pancreas, where you have your insulin generated from. So it's actually manufacturing facility insulin right when you need it. When you don't need it, the cells don't generate it. They do store it. When you do need it, it reads your blood glucose. These guys read your blood glucose level and they give it to you.
So it's more like a platform.
It's a platform technology that has universal application. There's not much that we have to do if we're talking about liver cancer, breast cancer, any solid tumor, sarcomas. It all works with the same factory. Capsules that have genetically engineered cells that convert an inactive chemotherapy drug right at the site of the tumor. Nobody has that platform technology.
Ken, I have to ask you for some timing issues, but only go into detail about what you can. But obviously, our investor audience would like to know more about timing for, perhaps clinical trials, et cetera.
Oh, sure. We've worked long and hard during the course of the last 3 years to put all of this together. It's a technology really that's been around since the late 1990s. Unfortunately, it fell off the face of the map on the day before it was going to be proven out in a marketing approval trial in Europe. Our plan now is to actually be in the clinic in Q4 of this year. We haven't been able to identify a specific date, but that will be within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to be in a phase 2B trial where we're going to be going against the standard of care for patients who become refractory or get no further benefit from the gold standard of care for pancreatic cancer. The comparator arm in our trial will be capecitabine, a chemotherapy drug that's used now, along with radiation. We're going to say that we will best that at least by twice, and our chemotherapy course comes with no side effects. For diabetes, it's a different program. We're in preclinical studies right now. We've put together an amazing international diabetes consortium with some of the best minds in the world working collaboratively together rather than in silos. We believe that we will be in the clinic in human beings with our therapy for type 1 and insulin-dependent type 2 diabetes in late Q4 of next year, which is a rocket compared to where people thought we were going to be when we first started this program.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a website for more information, if you would, Ken.
Well, it's www.pharmacyte.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kenneth Waggoner, PharmaCyte with a Y on the end. Biotech, PMCB, it's a publicly traded company. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the 2016 Marcum MicroCap Conference in New York City. Ken, thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for having us.
Good to have you.